Hello, and welcome to another chapter of a tome pulled right off the shelves at the heart of the Jakuls. As always, I'm your skilled host, Lothrin, and there's ever so much more data to relay. So let's get to it, shall we? Go grab a filling meal, settle into a cozy spot, and pay accurate attention to Fleet Part 70, Scarcity.
Alduin covered his face with the back of his left hand, the acrid smell of drying blood wafting up into the air and the hot, humid, steaming bits all around him. He was at the main entrance, rather being escorted to the body, but he'd been traveling to it for a few minutes, the armed guards making sure he didn't wander. The entire trip, the scent of death and decay had been strong enough to taste. Rounding the last corner, witnessing it for the first time, he was very glad Vildar had convinced the kid to remain at the office. The blood was everywhere. The floor gratings, in the machines, on the walls, hanging in the very air in the form of mist, on the ceiling, chunks of drying meat, sinew, and bone splattered and stained every surface for a dozen meters. There was one bare foot, and not a trace of the rest of the legs. A tattered bit of cloth here and there, most of a shoulder and half of a face. The rest was paste, smeared into every nook and cranny of the small metal alcove. Wow. When you think you've seen everything. Wow. Alduin couldn't even begin to fathom the malice and mental degradation of a mind that had done this to what little remained of the woman beneath him.
How close are you to solving this thing? Vildar asked as he stared grimly down at what little there was remaining of the corpse.
Much further than I thought I was before rounding that corner. Both of them took a moment to drink in the carnage and what it meant for the station. Alduin felt the primordial beast move within him. Truths began to reveal themselves, even if he didn't really know where they came from. She's a prostitute. That mark on her neck. A tattoo of 5 triangles in a star shape. All the ones I've located have that on their necks. Alduin wasn't even sure how he found that detail in all the vivid gore traipsing about his mind just now.
Cam's tied up right now, finishing up the last details on the Corvette. You need to solve this fast. What else do you have?
Besides that our Zayzo is the most brutal lunatic I've ever encountered, not nearly as much as I'd like to have. There are skirts working every floor, working out of restaurants and bars. You need a secret phrase to gain access. Code changes every few days as far as I can tell. You give the code to the wrong person, i.e., anyone the Zayzo doesn't implicitly trust, you die. Any skirts offering service on the side have been quietly disappeared. Till now, of course. Whoever did this was sending a message. They wanted this to be found, to have eyes on it. Have you moved anything?
No. I know enough not to touch anything until the right eyes see it.
Alduin let the darkness, that horrible ancient thing, crawl out of its home within him. See the foot placed next to the shoe? A simple slipper. Common. Doesn't belong to the woman. Her face is too pretty. What's left of it anyway. There's various tiers of the skirts that I've observed. This one would be given a better uniform. The slipper is an insult. This Zayzo is obsessed with method and order. They need to control. The information flowed like a river from the infinite spring in Alduin's head. He was picking up the details, sorting through them. All his vast experiences weighed against it, and churning out only what he knew to be factual, or what the beast deep inside said. Here, the hand is tied to the arm pointing back up to the face. The Zayzo is blaming this woman, saying that she did this to herself.
That's insane. Who would do this to themselves? Vildar asked while trying to maintain his cool and having difficulty with the process.
To our Zayzo, this woman is the one at fault for this. See these cuts on the face? They'll make it difficult to ID her, but that's not why they were done. They're neat, almost a perfect square pattern, repeated over and over, the top right corner left open. This woman chose to be flawed, so our Zayzo ended her, taking her life, her beauty, even her body from her. How often do people come through here?
Vildar didn't know what Alduin was getting at, but he answered the question anyway. This is off of the main corridor. Someone should walk down this path at least every half hour? Why?
Alduin nodded to himself. This was done after the woman was dead. She was probably ground up somewhere else. Everything carried here, set up in place, the walls and ceiling sprayed. The splatter's too uniform for anything less. Look at the cuts on the face and the end of the foot. The blood was drained. Care was taken to do everything right. Something like this took time. See both ends of the hall? The blood ends in neat lines. A sheet was hung on both sides. Is this the only tunnel that goes down this way, Vildar?
No. Vildar shook his head even though Alduin wasn't looking at him. This close to the heart of the upper base, there's plenty of cross-sections and alternate paths.
Alduin nodded again. This wasn't just a message to the other skirts and any soldiers that might step out of line. The Zayzo was telling Cam that they're the ones in control. They're the one that owns life and death. So many deaths.
How many? Vildar asked. How many do you know for certain this Zayzo of yours did?
More than 100 at least. That's just what we know of.
By the burning fires of Tabor's glare! How have there been so many and we didn't know about it?
It's tough to see the little details when you have other things constantly on your mind. When you're focused on making it through the next innovation. Solving the next impossible problem. People here are constantly showing up. Some of them have always been running off too. Everyone just rolls up their sleeves and gets back to work. There's enough work to go around, isn't there? Alduin stood back up, that dark horrible thing crawling around in his gut, trying to make a nest and get all comfortable.
I knew there was a problem, but I didn't imagine it was so many. How did we not see it? How did something like this not come to our attention sooner?
Escalation. This Zayzo isn't even warmed up yet. The kid went over the numbers, a few here and there at first. More and more as time goes on. This is the real work. Gambling halls, animal fights, black markets, slavery, cannibalism. There's nothing this Zayzo wouldn't stoop to gain more control. This isn't the end. It's not even the beginning, Vildar. You're going to see these. More of them like this, every day. They're all gonna be women too. Our careful Zayzo's been saving up for an occasion just like this one. Couldn't resist the urge any longer. Couldn't let everyone else keep being wrong.
You can solve this, right? Vildar didn't sound all that sure about it.
Yes, but Alduin felt it in the primordial Vu monster lurking deep within him. It's going to destroy me. The shard of exacting precision fell from his grasp after the words left his mouth, and the knowledge struck his mind. At least he'd finally meet his destiny after so long a life.
And so it is. Our time together has once more come to a close. I hope each and every one of you enjoyed the tale as much as I have the telling of it. As always, I've been your dedicated host, Lothrin, and this was Fleet Part 70, Scarcity, another tale right from the heart of the Jakuls. And now, sadly, ever so sadly, we must once again part ways. Korvoth, guide them back along the proper path, back to the safety they know all too well.
Yes, sir, Lothrin. Lothrin didn't let me even research this one. He's gonna give me the notes on it or something. Says it's not for my young mind. Whatever he means by that. A pleasant greeting and a fond farewell to each and all. Please leave all your comments, questions, and kindnesses down below. Don't you let me catch a single one of you leaving any of that nasty, rude, or terrible stuff, though. You keep all that garbage to yourselves. Got it? Don't you do it. Don't you ever do it. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to help us learn, spread, and grow. And don't forget that we strongly encourage each and every one of you to stay safe out there. See you again tomorrow for the discussion. I hope I'm not missing too much in this episode, even though the whole story's kind of boring to me. I gotta do the end here. Good night and good luck. You'll need it. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye. 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 Why are you still here? Bye-bye. Go away. Go, shoo. Bye-bye.